Today on Food for Thought, it's snack time, and I'll be preparing a few family favorites, like a twist on my mom's Devil's on Horseback recipe, my sister Amanda's weakness, pig candy, a smoked salmon tartine that my dad adores, and a personal favorite of my own, avocado toast. And then Amanda is coming by to pick up a few tips for herself and sample these easy and delicious snacks. Who doesn't love bacon? Well, for the first two snacks on my list, I'm looking for a fresh and delicious helping of this crowd pleaser. And I know exactly the place, my favorite local butcher shop, Huntington Meats in the historic LA Farmers Market. Co-owner Jim Cosconi is going to show me everything I need to know about this smoky and savory treat. Hey, Jim.
Hi, Claire. How are you? Welcome to Huntington Meats.
Thank you. Well, I heard this is the place to come for the best bacon.
You betcha. Why don't you come on in back and let's talk about bacon.
Great. So walk me through how to make bacon.
Well, let's give you the process. This is what bacon really looks like in its first stages. This is a pork belly. You can kind of see the lines of the meat going through.
This looks like bacon to me. You can see those stripes.
Right, but this is in the raw state before it's been cured. Now, usually a lot of people cure with salt, sugar, and nitrates. And everybody, you know, nitrates. Everything's in moderation.
Yeah.
But that gives the shelf life of the bacon. The pork belly, this doesn't have the skin on it.
Wow, but that's the fat.
This is the fat.
That's amazing.
Definitely.
All that glorious bacon flavor.
I know. That's what bacon's all about, though.
Wow, and so once you cure it, I cannot believe how much smaller it gets.
Definitely. Well, this is a European style bacon. This has the rib etchings in it.
I love that you can see what part of the animal this comes from. You can see the ribs right there.
Right, definitely the starting of the ribs. In Europe, they leave the ribs on.
Does that impart flavor?
A little bit of flavor, I think. This is a little more smoked than normal. This is like a 12-hour, 14-hour smoking process.
Wow, so that is a lot of flavor in that
Definitely.
bacon.
So this is our slab bacon, European style.
And this looks familiar. This is your famous Applewood smoked bacon.
This is our famous Applewood smoked bacon. And people probably will recognize bacon being this way. You know, you'll find it in the grocery stores, in the packages and things. Now this is cured, and then it's also half the time smoked at this other one for 12 hours.
Oh, wow.
Usually the bigger guys smoke it not as long. They have heavy, deep smoke sometimes, and then they have the light smoke, and that's what you'll find maybe in the grocery store a lot more common.
So this is a little bit milder.
Right. It's very smooth and very appetizing. Let me give you some of this bacon.
Just thank you so much for all of your helpful tips and this amazing meat.
Well, thank you for coming.
So I'm back from Huntington Meats with my beautiful bacon, and I can't wait to get started on making my favorite bacon treats. I have my mom's Devil's on Horseback, which is a really classic appetizer, and then I have my favorite, pig candy. Both are super simple to make and very delicious. First up, pig candy. 3 ingredients, barely any time, and delicious results. All I have here is my bacon, some cayenne pepper for a little bit of heat, and brown sugar for that delicious, almost mapley sugar taste. So first thing, I'm gonna add my cayenne pepper to my brown sugar. And this is totally personal taste here. I love spicy, especially with something like this little snack. So I'm just gonna mix these together. Well, that looks great. So now I'm gonna get started on my bacon. And I have a baking sheet here covered in aluminum foil, and it has a cooling rack in it. And the idea here is less mess. This makes a big mess if you just put it right in. So I like the aluminum foil because all I have to do is crumble my mess and it's gone. And then the cooling rack acts as a way to elevate the bacon so it doesn't cook in its own fat. So you get a flatter, straighter bacon, and it's much cleaner. So I'm gonna lay my bacon horizontally across my cooling rack. And the idea here is it's not gonna slip through any of the cracks. And this bacon shrinks up really easily. So this entire cooling rack is good for maybe 4 people as a really great party snack. Now I'm going to sprinkle my sugar mixture onto my bacon, and I'm going to be using a lot because it melts off, a lot of it just falls off the bacon, so go ahead and be really generous. So now I'm going to press down my sugar just to make sure it's nice and stuck to the bacon. I'm gonna pop this in the oven, and you'll notice I saved half of my sugar mixture because I'm gonna flip my bacon once it's partially cooked and add a little bit more before it's done.
While my pig candy bakes in the oven, I'm going to get started on another bacon-rich snack, Devil's on Horseback, but with a twist. That's when Food for Thought returns. Today, I'm preparing some easy and delicious snacks to share with my sister Amanda. I've already got a batch of her favorite, pig candy, in the oven, but I'm not done yet.
So while my pig candy is baking in the oven, I'm gonna get started on my mom's favorite bacon treat, my version of Devil's on Horseback. Now, I say my version because unlike the traditional Devil's on Horseback, which is a date stuffed with an almond wrapped in bacon, I like to switch out the almond for goat cheese. It just adds this really great, bright, almost herbaceous, creamy note that is dynamite with dates and bacon. Another great switch up, if you like blue cheese, add blue cheese instead of goat cheese. So to start, I have my dates, and I'm using pitted medjool dates. You can use any date you can find, but I love medjools because they're really large and they have a lovely, almost burnt caramel flavor. So I can fit all of the goat cheese in there really easily. I pulled the pit out, so now there's a little cavity where I can put the goat cheese in. So I'm gonna break off a little nub of goat cheese, not very large, surprisingly not much gets in there. I just roll it up just good enough so it can fit through the hole, and it's gonna be a little messy, but I'm basically just gonna push it in with my fingers. And you don't wanna overstuff your dates. There's just enough goat cheese in here, and if you overstuff it, it'll burst while you're baking, which makes a huge mess, and it doesn't really taste that great. Well, time to wrap these in bacon. And I took half or even a third of a slice of bacon because if you overwrap it, it actually won't cook through. So you just roll them up like so, just like that, and pierce them with a toothpick to hold everything together. Voila! These recipes are a great use of high quality bacon like the kind I got at Huntington Meats. The reason is there's so few ingredients and bacon really is the star, so if you're using good bacon, you can taste that it's good bacon. And these decadent treats are a great way to have portion control with your bacon because you're not gonna eat that much bacon when you're eating them along with dates and goat cheese or with sugar sprinkled on top. So instead of eating 3 or 4 slices of bacon, you're really only gonna end up eating about 1.
Before I move on, it's time to pull the pig candy out of the oven. I've already flipped the bacon and put my sugar and cayenne pepper mixture on the other side, so this looks ready to go.
So my pig candy is out of the oven and cooling, and now I'm gonna get my Devil's on Horsebacks in the oven. It's really simple. You're just gonna lay them out on a baking pan covered in aluminum foil and with a cooling rack on top. It's the same idea as with the pig candy. It means a lot less mess, and when you have bacon fat and sugars and things like that, it just gets caramelized and is really hard to get off of a baking sheet. So aluminum foil is a really good idea. Great, well these look ready to go. I'm gonna pop them in the oven until the bacon is perfectly cooked, and I can't wait to eat them.
It's been about 20 minutes and the bacon is cooked all the way through. These smell amazing, but first they have to cool.
So my Devil's on Horseback are out of the oven and I have everything set to plate. So first I'm going to snip my pig candy into bite-sized pieces. And when I say I'm going to snip my pig candy, I mean it. I'm using scissors and snipping it into tiny pieces. And you want to let your pig candy cool because then it'll become nice and stiff and it'll be really easy to snip up. If it's straight from the oven, it'll be a little too warm and kind of hard to break up. I'm using scissors instead of a knife because this way I don't have to press one side of the pig candy into it and then lose all the great sugar on one side. Also, it's just way easier. So I like to snip them to just about 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch pieces, just big enough for you to have a little nibble. The great thing about these little bites is you can double, you can triple the recipe if you're making them for a big party, because these are just meant to be little snacks. They're just 1 or 2 bites at most, and they're great to have when you're hosting friends. And I mean, who doesn't want candied bacon? It's candied bacon. So these look great. I'm just gonna finish it with a little sprinkling of brown sugar and some cayenne pepper for a bit of color. Just a pinch, because this is hot stuff. So now I'm gonna give it a taste to make sure it's perfect for my sister Amanda, who's coming over. Oh my goodness, this is so tasty. So these definitely pass the taste test, and I'm going to set my Devil's on Horseback onto my plate. And I like to leave the toothpicks in because it means no greasy fingers, and you also want to make sure they're room temperature or a little above room temperature. Otherwise, it's really molten in the center and you can get some burnt mouths, which is no fun. And because these are meat, you want to make sure they're consumed immediately, but I don't think that'll be a problem. And when we get back, I'm going to make 2 of my other favorite snacks. So stay tuned. One of the things I love about snacks is that they're so easy to assemble and put together. One of my absolute favorite snacks ever is avocado toast. It was one of the first blog recipe videos I ever did, and it's still one of my favorites. It's crunchy, creamy, a little spicy, and so delicious. So to make avocado toast, it takes like 30 seconds. It is so simple and one of my favorites. So to start, I have my wheat toast, which is lovely and toasted, super golden brown, really crunchy. And now I'm going to slice my avocado. I'm using Haas, and they're really nutty and creamy, so they're perfect in this dish. And the key to slicing an avocado is once you have it halved, you're just gonna give it a slight twist, and there's gonna be a nut in the middle. That's the seed. Easiest way to get the seed out is you just hold this on the side, and you just tap it with your knife. There we go, just like that. And this is a really nice, perfectly ripe avocado. There's no brown spots in the interior. It's really green, and it gives perfectly. If you squeeze it, it's really tender. And so to slice it, I hold it in its husk like this, and really carefully, I just slice super softly into the avocado like so. And you can definitely use a butter knife for this. This avocado is very soft. Using a spoon, I'm going to go to the very bottom of the husk and scoop it out all in one big swoop. There we go. So now I'm gonna put it all together. I have my slice of toast and my avocado. And the kind of fun thing here is if you love avocado, you can pile it on. Seasoning this toast is really important because there's not many ingredients going onto it. So I like to use just simple salt and pepper. So sprinkle a little bit of salt just right on top. And then crack some freshly ground pepper too. And next, I'm going to do a drizzle of olive oil. It just adds a really nice grassy flavor and a little bit of moistness that seeps into the toast. It's really, really good. Funny enough, avocados and olives are both fruit. Generally, if the seed or seeds are inside the flesh, that means they're a fruit. And now for the final touch, a little bit of hot sauce. I love the color of the bright red against the green. It's so beautiful. And the hot sauce is just really, really fabulous next to the creaminess and sort of the mellow flavor of avocado. And this is totally personal choice. I love heat, so I'm adding quite a bit, but you can also do just a tiny drizzle. And there you have it, avocado toast. So simple, really quick and easy to make, and it's a brilliant snack or breakfast. I love it. I'm going to plate these up and save them for when my sister comes over. I fell in love with this next snack because it's one of my dad's favorites and one of my favorites to make for him. It's a smoked salmon tartine, which is just a fancy way of saying open-faced sandwich. It's super simple. All that goes into it is pumpernickel bread, some smoked salmon, a little bit of dill, some cream cheese, a slice of lemon, and then if you like it, like me, ground pepper. So first, I'm going to take my toasted pumpernickel, and this is just a really dark German bread, sort of similar to a rye, but a little bit spicier, and it's beautiful with salmon. So first, I'm going to put a little bit of cream cheese on top. And I don't like to put a ton of cream cheese, because I want all the flavors to be in perfect balance. But if you love cream cheese and kind of want to make this more of a breakfast experience, sort of like you would bagel and lox, you can go ahead and add more. Next, I'm going to lay the salmon just right on top, just overlapping them ever so slightly. And then I'm going to take a little bit of dill, and I'm just going to break off some fronds. You don't need to finely chop it, it can just be kind of rough and loose. A crack of fresh black pepper, a drizzle of olive oil, and a twist of lemon just to give it a little bit of acid to break through that cream cheese and the smoked salmon. I'm just gonna squeeze this just a little bit, get a couple drops on there. The great thing about this snack too is one slice is a perfect snack, 2 slices makes a great lunch. So I'm gonna give this a little slice and give it a try. is so delicious. The rich, smoky flavor of the salmon is really great with sort of the sharp taste of the cream cheese. The dill adds a great kind of a herbaceous note. The lemon cuts right through everything. It's really light, super tasty. I love it. Well, up next, my sister Amanda is gonna come over and I'm gonna prepare some of these snacks for her. I'm here with my sister Amanda and we're about to dig into the snacks that I have spent all morning slaving over. First up, avocado toast.
Yum.
Yes. You recall this? There was a month where I only ate these.
Yeah, and I did too.
Yeah, we think we all kind of gorged on avocado toast. It takes like 30 seconds to put together.
Yeah, it's so easy.
And then your other favorite?
Pig candy.
Pig candy.
Love that one.
I know, I figured these were sort of the best of snacks.
Yeah.
But I love these ideas. Do this.
I could make these 2 starters.
They are.
That's pretty much it.
Exactly, they're like the perfect recipes to start with because they're simple, they get you in the kitchen, they get you learning how to slice with a knife, how to toast, how to use an oven, but otherwise they're kind of really delicious and pretty easy to come out with something really great in the end of it.
Yeah, and I think if I had people over and I made these, I think everyone would be really impressed.
Pig candy is something that I make quadruple, quintuple, like huge, huge, huge amounts of because this goes like hotcakes. It goes like pig candy.
Yes, it does. So I'll admit, I'm kind of afraid of the oven a little bit. There's just something really intimidating about putting your hands into something not hot to bring your food out.
I've noticed that with you.
I don't like it.
I always have to do it for you.
I don't like it.
I understand. I mean, because it's, 350 degrees, 400 degrees of heat, and you're putting your body into it, and it can be like,
yeah, it's
like,
intimidating.
Yeah, but it's an oven. It's not gonna hurt you unless you linger, hang out inside of it, and make sure to be safe with oven mitts and that kind of thing, and you'll be totally fine. Yes. Pig candy is a perfect example of your oven worries because even though typically, 350 works great, this is something you could make at 400. You could make it 300. It just depends on how long you want to babysit it for and how hawkish you want to be about it. For instance, if I was cooking this at a much higher heat, I would have to check on it like every minute to make sure it wasn't burning.
Yeah.
If I didn't want to have to do that, I put it at a lower temperature and it's totally fine. I'm just waiting for sugar to melt and caramelize a little bit on bacon. But with something like baking, it's a little more important to make sure you have the right temperature all the time.
Yeah.
One of the first things I learned, and this is gonna sound really silly, but it's actually really important, is read the recipe.
I know.
Right?
Because sometimes you don't read all the way through.
Or you're cooking as you're reading.
Yeah.
And it just ends up being, oh, I did not realize this needed to chill for 8 hours.
Yeah.
People are coming over in 30 minutes. It's that kind of thing where if you don't read it through once, you don't know what's coming up. And then if you read it through, you can get everything organized. If you can chop your onions earlier in the day, do it. If you can organize so you have all of the utensils that you're gonna be using, lay those out and you're all set. It'll just make it so much easier and everything will go by much faster because then you just have to assemble and cook it.
Good to know.
Do you want to dig in?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Love this stuff.
I could eat the whole plate of this.
It's kind of like that, right? So
it's dangerous.
It's really dangerous. And notice all of your girlfriends are obsessed with this.
I know.
Why do you think it's their favorite?
I think it's that mix of sweet and savory, and then there's that little bit of heat on top. It's just something that you don't eat all the time, or you see all the time.
Definitely.
It's a really, really unique dish.
Well, thanks. Well, I always kind of pegged your friends as more like salad girls. They I would never think of them eating something called pig candy because it's so full on. But I love that they like it.
But I think what works with this is it's just a little morsel.
Exactly.
It's a little bite.
Yeah.
So you don't feel guilty about eating
ton of bacon, and you don't really need that much of it.
No, they're so rich that, I mean, really, 3 pieces and you get it.
Yeah.
You have all the flavors, you have the heat, you've enjoyed it, and it's kind of on the rich side, so you don't need that much.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much for coming by to snack with me.
Well, thank you for making all this lovely food.
My pleasure.
I'm taking this pig candy with me.
It's okay. It's better that it's not laying around my apartment. Well, thank you so much.
Of course.
Well, we had a lot of fun learning all about snacks today, and I figured out that snacks can be light or decadent, and they're always fun to make. See you again next week for another episode of Food for Thought.